Hi there guys, Sam here, and yeah, you join me in the Ford Focus 1.5 Ecoboost. So yeah, sort of contradicting what I was kind of saying, more talking about the Golf R. I just wanted to do a video on this car just because, well, funny, obviously I was looking for a car similar to this, and having driven it for a bit, I just wanted to give my kind of experience on it. When I was kind of looking for stuff on this car, it's quite limited actually for this specific engine anyway. And yeah, I think it's a great car, so I just wanted to kind of explain that. Obviously, for my normal followers on my Golf R, you know, feel free to probably skip this video if you're not interested. I will compare it a little bit, but obviously it's just for people who potentially are interested in a Ford Focus such as this. So yeah, here we go. So I'll get straight into it. So yeah, so this particular car is a 2016 sort of facelift Ford Focus. So it's actually a Ford Focus ST-Line. And what Ford did after about sort of 2016 to kind of rebrand their sort of semi-sporty cars is they called it an ST-Line. Similar to like you've got for example my Golf R is obviously the top of the range one, but Volkswagen also do an R line, and it's sort of supposed to look similar, but obviously not as fast and not as sort of hardcore. For this one, certainly on the looks wise, they've sort of actually really made it look like an ST. You know, for me, I've got relatively a keen eye on cars, and I've been fooled, to be fair. Honestly, the one in blue, in black, generally I kind of think, oh, that's Focus ST, it's Focus ST, and then you kind of like, oh, it's not, it's just you know, the ST line. So that's quite cool. So looks wise, I think it looks great. You can get it in estate as well, but from reviews and stuff, the estate body doesn't actually add that much, but you do get a little bit more headroom in the back and bits, a little bit more air and light, and you can look over your shoulder a little bit better. But yeah, so for me, I've driven about, I'd say I've probably driven about 140 miles in this car myself, and I've been a passenger in it as well for about the same period of time, probably a little bit more actually. So I'll kind of give my experiences on it. For me, I think it's a great car. Certainly price wise as well is quite a main thing. Ford do generally really good discounts whether you're getting it from new, particularly with a new model coming out. It's not the worst time to be looking around for a car like this, because you can get a discount. And again, you know, comparing it with my Golf, which obviously I've had for about 9-10 months now, you know, it kind of shows, first of all, it shows the price point. You do notice some of the quality isn't there. You know, opening the doors, shutting the doors, things do rattle just a little bit more, and you know, you touch and feel. So I've got like plasticky dash here. Funny enough, the steering wheel is fantastic. It's a really great wheel actually, and the gear stick is really great, similar to like my Fiesta ST. It's a great gear stick. I'll do a little tour around it as well, maybe potentially while I'm talking. But in general, it's great. Seats are comfortable in the ST-Line. You get a bit of red stitching. And it's a cool car. This one in particular is a 1.5, so it's a 1.5 EcoBoost with 150 brake horsepower, and the important thing is it's got about 177 pounds-foot of torque, and that means, yeah, it can shift. You know, it's not a slow car. It's not 16, about 8.9, but on the move, you know, you can sit in sixth. You know, I drove this with actually a full car, so well, 4 people, 4 adults. And you know, I could sit in sixth at sort of like 55 miles an hour, put my foot down, I'd get up to 70 relatively quickly and sort of overtake traffic without actually needing to down it a gear, which was quite nice. Obviously not as brisk as say a 4-wheel drive Golf R like the one I've got, but certainly really good, and I would definitely advise on that kind of petrol engine over the 1 litre EcoBoost, just because the 1 litre it's great in a Fiesta, but I just think for a Focus, personally, I don't think it's going to have the pull you want. And economy-wise, I did a stretch on this. I got 47 miles per gallon on the stretch. I think that's pretty respectable. That was about a 90-mile drive. That wasn't particularly going slow. That was sort of 70 miles an hour all the way. Sort of, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Price-wise, again, I kind of mentioned it briefly. You know, you can get good discounts off Ford. You know, I always say look for kind of a 2-year-old car is kind of a good point to get. You know, I got this car for my dad. You know, list price it's about 21,900 with this sort of options. Got a sat nav, metallic silver paint. And we managed to find this car for just under 13,000, which is actually not too bad. And 14,000 miles on the clock. It's a good car. It will last. Certainly last for and do what he's after it for. In terms of like the driving, it's sporty enough. The steering does feel a bit numb, but I find that in quite a lot of Fords. I found it in my Fiesta. It's electric, it's light. You don't really get any feel of where the front end is, which isn't great for involvement. But at the same time, the chassis is a little bit playful. It's got enough power to, make things interesting. Sounds great, quiet when you want it to be. If you're not giving it any, it's really, really quiet. And when you do actually push on, it has a nice little throaty roar to it, which is nice if you're after that kind of thing. Space-wise, really comfortable in the back. It's nice having 5-door, to be honest. I think that's probably what I'm going to go for in a future car. And again, while I was kind of looking at this, and it's nice. It's actually a nice place to be. Boot is big. It's kind of got all the basics that you'd need. This one's got Sync 2, but if you get one past 2017, it's got Sync 3. That's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. That's pretty much all you really need, really. You just plug your iPhone or your Android phone in, straight away get connected. You get Google Maps, you get everything up to date. It's probably the way the future's going. I mentioned again a bit of the plastics. It's not the same kind of quality as, say, a Volkswagen, but at the same point, you got to think in sort of cost-wise, you are saving a fair amount with this car, and it definitely does the job while still, putting a smile on your face. Yeah, and that was kind of it. I mean, I know I'm just kind of sitting in here, and I'm not going to go into too much in-depth talk. But if you are looking for a Ford Focus, or you are looking around this kind of like Volkswagen Golf, other cars in this segment, I think look at an ST-Line. First of all, I think they look great. It's personal preference as well. And for what you get inside, it's really, really good. My boss has a 1.5 diesel, for example, and with he had Apple CarPlay on. It was brilliant. It was just like, it felt like a real top quality car, and that kind of stuff is what you see. The one thing positive is that the screen's nice and big. It's nice and just below my camera now, as you probably know from other sort of pictures in a Ford Focus. And the dials are all nice. It's sort of blue, sporty enough. Whilst also, if you've got family, if you've got kids, it's not the most expensive car in the world. Okay, scratchy plastics, but if you knock a few things, it's not the end of the world. We've clipped a few things already just because it kind of came down, is kind of what it is. But it should stay in place. You also, actually, with the 1.5, you get an exhaust as well showing, which is always nice. You can chrome that up a little bit. I like that with my Golf R. It's only one on here, but it still looks nice. The wheels also look really nice as well. This one's got sort of 17 inch wheels, and you can actually get sort of like the rock effect wheels, which are really nice. It almost looks like a proper Ford Focus ST, without kind of the running costs. Obviously a Focus ST isn't going to get the same economy. It's going to be a much stiffer ride, bigger engine, bit heavier, maybe a bit too droney on motorways for some people as well, and also a bit more expensive, which is another obviously main thing when you're kind of looking for a car. That was it. I hope it helped. I've done a bit of driving on this. I can really thoroughly recommend it to anyone who's kind of looking for this kind of car. I've kind of done this video because I couldn't find too much stuff on this 1.5 litre EcoBoost Ford Focus. If you search it on YouTube or something, I was getting just random results. You'd get like one odd car doing an up and down sprint, which wasn't really helpful. But for me, I think it's a real winner. It's a real pick of the range. It's a little bit unique as well. Everyone goes to the 1 litre because they think, cheaper tax, cheaper fuel, all this kind of stuff, which it is. This car in the UK is only £115 tax, and that's not too bad. I know it's sort of £20, £30 or whatever for the 1 litre, but £100, it shouldn't be a deal breaker, really, should it? And I just think it's an impressive car, and certainly one worth considering. Try a test drive in it. Try and get yourself a good deal as well. Haggle. New Focus coming out. You can get a great deal on this thing, and it's a great car. It's a capable car. It's one of the best selling cars in the UK anyway. Ford Fiesta kind of tops the charts, but the Focus is one really worth considering. And again, yeah, parts, servicing, it's all not too bad. And there's thousands of these around as well, which kind of helps on that side of things. And I personally have had really good experiences with Ford with my Fiesta for sort of 4 years in terms of servicing my car with them and bits like that. So kind of a strong positive point on that. But yeah, there you go. Hopefully not too long. You know, I know about a 10-minute clip, kind of just going through my thoughts on it. You know, I'll do a whiz round on kind of the interior and bits, but you know, I think it's a really great car, and one worth considering. But you know, thanks very much for watching. Yeah, stay tuned for more content on my Golf R. Actually, I won't really be doing this video again. I won't kind of go through this car. It's just something I wanted to mention. But yeah, you know, thanks for watching. Give it a like, and again, subscribe for more content on my Golf R. But thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.